Good morning. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Et toi? Je suis triste. I am sad. Ni hao. Hola. Ohio. Bienvenue. Wan Ying. Bienvenidos. Yo koso. And welcome. Welcome to another episode of Gem Hunter Stories. My name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a gemological storyteller. And each and every week, I have the honor and privilege of coming into your home and taking you on a journey to places you've never been before, to hear stories you've never heard before. Each week, I get the magnificent opportunity to take you on a mental, physical, and spiritual adventure into the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry. And I do this because I believe that stories can change the world. I believe understanding and listening to someone's stories can increase your concept, your understanding of someone's value. And I believe that somewhere along the line, somewhere in this journey that you and I will take together, you will hear a story that will move you, a story that perhaps makes you look at the world in a different way. And each and every week, my job, my mission, my promise to God is to create a sound, a sound that resonates inside of you. And my hope is that you take that sound and you use it as a template, as a bridge to a greater understanding, to a inception point, in order to help you along your own personal journey of discovering the value of your own stories. This show is going to be hard for me. As some of you saw my Facebook post, I lost a student that I was one of my first students that when I first began teaching, 11 years ago. And there was a part of me that wasn't sure if I wanted to do today's show, but I knew that the whole reason why I started this show was to get people to understand the connection between gemstones, the way we look at gemstones, the way we value gemstones, and the way we value each other as human beings, as people living on this planet together. And I've always made a promise to myself to keep the show not so, I don't want to discuss politics. You hear enough of that by people far more intelligent and eloquent than I am. And I don't want to necessarily talk about just social issues per se. Everything I bring on this show, first of all, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just don't feel like people need to hear my voice at 8 o'clock in the morning sounding down. I just don't believe that. You get enough down information every day. I don't want to add to that. I want this show to be about having a deeper understanding of just value. Just value. You know, what does it mean to be who you are on the planet? And each week I talk about finding the value of your own story. And lots of times that story comes about by understanding other people. So we're still talking about Black History Month because it's still February. This is Black History Month. And I think it's really important for me to talk about Black History Month because one, we're still living in it, as you see lots of posts and comments saying Black History Month is every day from January 1st to December 31st. That's Black history every day. We're living it. We're experiencing it. It is who we are. If you are a person of color, and when I say Black history, I always think of just a person of color. What our experiences are. You know, how do we interact with the world? And I think by using gemstones as a template, because that's the one thing that we all, no matter where we are in the world, we all have that understanding, that innate understanding of what a gemstone is. When I say, and I've said this from day one, when you say diamonds, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, pearls, people know what that is because you automatically, whether you own the gemstone or not, you automatically understand the value of it. You just know. My niece, Gianna, my bonbon, my candy, when I tell her about a diamond or ruby, she knows. She knows what it is. She's 7. She's 7. She understands. Does she own one? No, but she understands because someone told her a story. She saw it on TV. She saw it on TikTok. Lord knows she's on TikTok all the time. TikTok, Facebook. She's seen that and someone told her that story. So therefore, she understands the value of it. So yes, Black History Month. And I told you last episode, Carter G. Woodson, and who he is and the history of Black History Month started February 1969. You know, second person to receive Harvard. And when you say that, the second Black person to receive a PhD from Harvard, think about what year he did that. This was in the 1920s. All the things he had to endure to order to anyone here who's working towards their PhD in something understands how difficult that is in regular time. But imagine dealing with that in regards to racism and being Black and trying to achieve that goal. Again, stories. Once you understand someone's stories, you have a high appreciation for them. So on our last episode, we were talking about what is beauty. And I'm just going to do a quick recap because it flows into, I believe, into what we're talking about today. So what is beauty? And again, I told you last time that beauty is relative. Beauty is relative, just like Einstein's theory of relativity. It basically, what Einstein said was that time, space, matter, gravity you're affected by that based on where you are, your relative position to where you are. And that works with us, that works with gemstones, that works with light, your relative position. So the catalyst to this conversation was this young lady. And when I told you about, and again, I thank Lawana Bradford for just creating that question in my mind, was why did I use this young lady in the picture? And the more I think about it, the thing that I realized unconsciously was, as a gemologist, I saw her as a representative of the diamond. I got the picture because she's from Nambia, and that diamond, which Nambian diamonds are very usually exquisite diamonds. But what I thought about was how both of those, I don't want to say substances, the woman and the diamond, have to go through the same process. They have to go through the same process. That's not what she looks like. Every woman watching me today, this morning, understands that that's not the way that woman woke up this morning. When she like, had to go to the bathroom, brush her teeth. She had to do all that, the light and everything else. But the same thing goes for that diamond. That diamond did not look like that. But because of the process, that both have to go through, it really begs the question. It begs the question is, when does a diamond become a diamond? Think about that for a second. When does a diamond become a diamond? What process? There is like 6 different things that a diamond has to go through to become the diamond that she's holding in her hand, that you're wearing in your earrings, your necklace, your fingers, of course. 6 different. You have to go through diamond mining. So there has to be found first. And understand it takes millions of dollars. It takes, the last time I read, and I'm sure it's gone up, but the last time I read, it costs at least $750 million just to even talk about finding a diamond, creating a diamond mine. 750 million, almost $750 million. And I'm sure with everything going on, it's even closer to, more expensive than that. Then you have to sort it out. You have to evaluate. You have to figure out which is what. You know, you have these huge machines with grease belts where they have lasers that will shoot jets of water, shooting the gemstones. And then they have to have people evaluate which ones are good, which ones are bad, which one's weathered, which the color, all those things. Then you have to go through, once you get through that, then you have to ship it to someone. It depends on, if it's real small diamonds, what they call Malay diamonds, that's done in India. Larger diamonds, other places in Asia. Then you start talking about diamonds going to like Antwerp and the Netherlands, things like this. Israel, that's where those diamonds are cut and polished. Then you have to go through the manufacturing. That means someone has to look at a diamond and figure out how to maximize not only just the weight, because carat weight is very important, but you have to maximize how the light performs, how the colors come. So that's what then the marketing and then the retail. Okay, so the question is, at what point does a diamond have value? And what's really interesting about that is when you think about it, no matter where in that process a diamond is discussed, it's always a diamond. Even when it's in the ground, even when the guy or the geologist or the geologist, the mineralogist, when they're sitting there, and financiers, when they're sitting in these rooms discussing with maps and geological topography and satellite images and GIS information system, when they figuring all that out, at no point in time do they ever just call it a rock. They automatically associate that with a diamond, and because it is a diamond, therefore it has value. From the very beginning, from before birth, just a concept. You know, Joel, there's that mountain over there. Yeah, I think there's diamonds there. For real? Yeah, I think there's really diamonds. Before he did anything, and we're not even talking about nowadays. We're talking about 1,000 years ago. All those Spaniards just got on a ship, went across the ocean because they believed that there was a diamond there. Therefore, there was value. So I gave you this before, and I want you to see it again. The principle of progression and regression, where it talks about the value of a property placed in the context of either a higher or lesser valued property will increase or decrease, respectively, by the association. Read that again. Increase or decrease by the association. What that means is I can take this lollipop ring, this candy ring that I would give to my kids, and I could put it in a Tiffany box. And just because it's in a Tiffany box, the same ring you bought for your kid down at the gas station that cost you $1 or CVS, put that ring in a Tiffany box, you could charge $400-500 for that ring. Easy. I learned that early on. I had a client, this is when I was working for Zales, and I was trying to, I was new in gemology, so I thought I knew everything. Little information can be dangerous. And I'm telling the woman, basically really trying to help the guy out because he didn't want to spend that kind of money because she kept saying about Tiffany's. And I said, well, miss, the only thing about this ring and a diamond is a diamond. I mean, it might be cut difference, but it's all the specs are the same. It's a diamond in the ring. And that ring that you're getting here, you can get it from Tiffany's, but you would be paying a whole lot more money. Why would you pay a whole lot of money for? The only difference is you're paying for a blue box. And she looked me right in the eye and said, well, that's what I want. I want the blue box. I was like, wow. Okay, thinking like a man. I'm sure there's lots of women sitting there saying, yeah, hello, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I didn't get it, ladies. Sorry. Like I said, this is a journey. So what I want you to do is I'm going to promote all of you to becoming gemological appraisers. You're all the gemological appraisers. Dominus Atus Amen. Because I want to talk about just what I've experienced in the last few days with the loss of my student, Ronald Coppage Jr. Ronald was that kind of kid. Like I said, I didn't say it before, but this is when I was working at a school called Kwame Nkrumah Academy, which was a African-centered school and I thought it was so cool because we were teaching African studies, African history, and I learned more in the year that I was there, probably in the whole time I've been in education, because African history is not taught in school. So many of us, including myself, did not know African history. You could, for $3,000, tell me who Kwame Nkrumah was. I would have been like, I have no idea. I know he's African, right? So I met Ronald. He was in second grade, cutest little boy in the world, as you can see. He was the kind of kid that, kids at that age, 6 or 7 years old, they're like the closest they're ever going to get to being like Mr. Spock. So Ronald must have lived in front of this Discovery Channel or the Science Channel, because every time you talk to Ronald, he had a question. And once he found out that I was a scientist, he was like, oh yeah, let me, and he wouldn't just ask regular questions. Oh no, why is water wet or something? No, he would say, oh, well, Baba Mixon, we were all Babas and Mamas because of the African tradition. So I was instead of Mr. Mixon, I was Baba Mixon, which was so cool. He was like, Baba Mixon, why are black holes black? I mean, why that color? And, he didn't settle on just because it is. he wanted, molecular structure answers. He wanted to really go through it. And there were days when I didn't feel like talking to Ronald, because Ronald, you had to be on your P's and Q's, but I loved it. I loved it at the same time because Ronald was just, he was brilliant. You could see he was the kind of guy, he was the kind of student child that I got into teaching for. And I loved it. And when Rayshawn told me that he had died, I didn't recognize, she told me his name. And then when she showed me the picture, I remembered. And little by little, I remembered who he was. And it was like steps, like metal ball going down the step. It just kept getting louder and louder because I kept remembering who this kid was. So let's look at it as gemologists, not just, we can get into the crying and everything else. And trust me, I'm crying inside, but let's look at it as a gemologist. So he's a human being. He's male, African-American, 6 to 7 years old. His chemical composition, there are 6 elements. 99% of who we are these elements: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, calcium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. That's 99% of us, who we are as people, everybody, humans. This is what we're made out of. His hardness, he was a sweet little kid. He's like, 5 or 6 on the hardness scale, in comparison to a diamond. He was witty, he was kind, he was intelligent, he was inquisitive. He was, he was the kind of kid that you just like, can I just have a whole classroom of him, please? Kwame Nkrumah Academy. And his potential was endless. If we was grading him as a gemstone, that's what we would say. And then Ray Sean told me that he died. He died February 2nd. Today is the what? 8th? Yeah, 6 days ago. And I hadn't seen him in all those years. I looked him up on the local newspaper and man 18, man, he just turned 18 in the fall. Man dies after shooting. East Chatham, I live in Chicago, for those of you who don't know. East Chatham was down the street. That's it, literally 5 minutes away from me. And that I looked in the police blotter, and they were just saying he 80. I live on 7300. He died on 80. He was murdered 8200 blocks. So 10 blocks away. I thought about what was I doing on 739 that evening. Yeah, that's the child that I met. That's the human being. That's the person that I looked into his eyes, and I had to take him, made sure he went to the bathroom and lined up and all these things. And the thing that I remember the most, as the memories of him kept flowing back, because again, this was 11 years ago, was that he was the kid. He was the first child, because again, I was brand new. I wasn't even a teacher yet. This is student teaching. He was the first child that ever said to me, he said, I want to be a scientist just like you, Baba Mixon. So that's what he said. Okay. Ronald Coppage Jr. So if we're going to talk about when is a diamond, when does a diamond become a diamond? Let's take the question to the next level and say, when does a human being become a person of value? And the reason why I asked that question is because of the way Ronald was killed. See, Rashawn told me that he was killed or maybe just the way I accepted it in my mind. First, I understood that this is the boy that I knew when he was in 2nd grade. Then I understood that he was 18. Then I understood that he was killed. Then I understood that he was killed over a pair of Yeezys. And I don't keep up on all the, hip hop fashions or young fashion. I had heard of Yeezys, but I didn't know what they really, what does Yeezys look like? Yeezys. I didn't know. So I Googled it. And I saw this is it. These are Yeezys. They come in different colors and different shapes. And I looked as a gemologist. Remember, we are gemologists, no. So don't look at it just sneakers or running shoes, gym shoes. Look at it as a gemologist. So you say, okay, what makes those shoes different? What makes those shoes have value? What makes those shoes so special that someone would kill somebody for? Remember, Ronald had all this is a kid. When I saw Ronald, when I would see Ronald was one of those kids that I thought I would grow old and one day see him on National Geographic or the Science Channel, or Ronald Cobbage Jr. today received a Nobel Prize. And I figured I'd be 70, 80 years old saying, oh my God, I know that kid. So what is it about those shoes that made it worth killing someone of that value? So then I looked at the shapes and the colors and I saw the lettering, SPLY -350. I'm like, surely. And then I looked the name that they called the Yeezy Boost 350 V2. I mean, very complicated name, and I learned about it that as an appraiser, right? When did it come to market? It was a collaboration between Kanye and Adidas, and what is the molecular structure of these? Obviously, someone died for these. So, I found out that it was a thermoplastic polyurethane, and that how they sold $1.7 billion of this shoe. And Kanye, his idea, even though Kanye doesn't play ball at all, he's a rapper, and no disrespect to him. I love some of his cuts and everything, but he's a rapper, has no relationship with shoes other than he just said, yeah, I think I can do that. He made $191 million. And I'm thinking, okay, let me look at as an appraiser now. What is polyurethane? I mean, we got gold, silver. What is so I looked it up. This is the chemical composition of polyurethane. And I'm like, okay, you got some ethylene rings and nitrogen, carbon. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So I know it has to be the lettering. It has to be that special symbol on the side. Surely SPLY 350 means something. Maybe something Maya Angelou said, maybe something that Thurgood Marshall or Frederick Douglass said, something significant. Because this boy died for these shoes. So I looked it up. I Googled, I said, I'm gonna go, what do those letters mean? What is the significance? I mean, Einstein had E = mc squared. This gotta mean something. And I looked it up from Adidas website, and it says it means nothing. Nothing. This young man who told me he wanted to be a scientist just like me one day. Just the fact that he wanted to be a scientist. And he died for something that's made out of plastic and has absolutely no meaning. Okay. Again, when does a diamond become a diamond? Why is it that a diamond has value from when it's in the ground, before it's even discovered? We understand that it's a diamond, but yet, and we understand that, or at least a whole lot of people understand that this shoe, even though this shoe has no value whatsoever other than what people perceive it to believe, because it's made out of plastic. And yet, this young man, a human being, died for this shoe. Died. So again, when does a diamond become a diamond? So we're going to stop here for a second, catch our breath, pay some bills. and I'll see you on the other side. Back. So again, don't forget the question for today is when is a diamond a diamond? And we already discussed how diamonds are considered diamonds. They have value, inherent value from the beginning, from conception. The Yeezy sneaker. So before we even get to the Yeezy sneaker, let's talk more about the diamond. Here we go. Okay. We know diamonds made out of just carbon, one element. Now, Ronald was made out of 6. And the Yeezy is made out of at least 5. So this is a diamond is made out of one element, carbon, crystallized art. And just to let you know that diamonds are not forever. Diamonds are actually unstable aspects of carbon. Diamonds eventually break down, just like glass eventually will break down. They're unstable. Hardness of 10. Crystalline structure, they come in the cubic, they come in the octahedron, which is like 2 pyramids stacked from base to base. Octahedron, 12 sides. Okay, boom. I don't even know why I have of February. I don't know what I was thinking at that. Cleavage means perfect cleavage means that it breaks in half. When you hit it, it brittle. A diamond is brittle. A diamond is brittle. So Ronald wasn't brittle. The Yeezy is made out of plastic. It's not brittle, but this diamond is brittle. You hit it, it breaks. Metaphysically, Yeezys, I don't know what metaphysics other than the fact that you're buying into a style. The Ronald had unlimited potential. And a diamond, metaphysically, intensity, a radiance. It's the gemstone of kings and queens. So this is, and we talked about it last week, that this is what a diamond looks like in its rough form. That if you do not know, especially the one in the lower right-hand side, if you walked past that, if you did not know what those markings are, if you did not understand the shape, in fact, in the one that's on top of the brown one on the upper right-hand side, that is a blue diamond that they already valued at $20 million. $20 million. The big one that's on the left, that's going to be because of the clarity. So just before anything happens to it, that's the value of it. So you go from that to this. Those rough gemstones go from that rough to this or to this. Okay. If it has nitrogen in it, just a trace amount of nitrogen, you get that color, fancy yellow. If the diamond is in a place in the world like Australia, where there's an increase of even more so than regular temperature and heat, that it basically a red diamond, and we're going to have a whole show next week on the red diamonds. It's a surprise, but anyhow, a red diamond goes through what's called plastic deformation. So the heat and the temperature is so powerful that it changes the structure of it. Red diamond, blue diamond, boron. And we talked about last week that all these diamonds, they look like what they look like in the rough form, but in order to get it to the gemstone that we appreciate as a diamond, they all have to go through treatments. Something has to happen to it. All gemstones are treated. I talked to you about that. All gemstones, every gemstone you've ever owned in your life is treated. Something has to happen. So when does a diamond become a diamond? Why can we consider diamonds from their rough forms? We understand their value, but we cannot understand, and we can make a sneaker, gym shoe. I'm old. We used to call them sneakers. I still call them sneakers. But here is a gym shoe that costs on regular retail $300 to $500, and people stand online. In fact, that's when I first experienced what the Yeezy was. I was walking down State Street and there was this long line, 2-3 blocks. And I realized the line was going towards the Foot Locker. So I said, okay, this must be for the new Jordans. I had never seen those lines before. So I talked to this guy and I said, yo, man, is this the new, trying to sound cool. Is this the new Jordans coming out? He looked at me like I was from another planet. He was like, nah, man, these are the Yeezys. I said, Yeezys? I said, Jordan makes a Yeezy? He said, no, not Jordan, Kanye West. Like, where you been? And I remember leaving feeling like, Kanye West, how Kanye West making sneakers? So the Boost 350 goes for $300 to $500 retail, and you sell it on a secondhand market for up to $1,500 to $2,000. So here's a diamond in its rough form. We don't know what it's going to be, but we already appreciate the value of it because it's a diamond. And we know that if we treat it, if we fashion it, if we heat it, if we irradiate it, if we do something to it, it becomes this. We saw that. Again, $750 million just to talk about. Honey, we're going to move to a new house. Okay, but we need $750 million just to talk to the realtor and find a house. Okay, sweetie. That's what happens. Just to find, just for the potential. So that's the difference. We didn't see that. We saw the potential. Kanye West first went to Nike. He had a relationship with Nike first. That didn't happen. Then he went to Adidas. Adidas says, sure, yeah, absolutely. German company talking to a rapper. I don't know if Kanye has training in, foot ergonomics, things of this. He just made a shoe. He was in tune with the flow of the culture. He's a rapper. He created this shoe. He made $191 million just last year. We know what the potential of a diamond is. And yet here's Ronald, this beautiful young boy, and a beautiful young African-American boy in a school that his parents put him in because they wanted them, and I never met them, but I assume just the way the school was, they saw something more for him. And yet he was shot because that person, whoever that person was, valued the shoe, and I'm sure would value the diamond more than valued Ronald's life. And that happens in all kinds of aspects of gemology. That's the thing that amazes me. Go back to what we talked about before, progression and regression. I'm not going to read it again. The value put in something in context. And this is not just something I picked up. This is something that's written from when I became an appraiser, my first class called Principles Evaluation. This is the book I have. Look at the number. It says PP/G GJ201. This is number 1. This is the first of a 4 series, $1,000 a class, each class. Took it in 2007. Northwestern, not some little old rink-dink. Northwestern University. Got an A in the class. Bust my butt to get through this. So the only difference between Ronald, that shoe, and a diamond is we see the potential. We see the potential. Having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. They didn't see that with Ronald. Latent qualities or abilities that may develop or lead to future success or usefulness. They didn't see that in Ronald. They don't see, people don't see that in us, but we see it in gemstones. And I don't want to just pick on diamonds. This month is amethyst. Let's talk about amethyst, right? Here's amethyst. Beautiful, perfect, but not perfect, beautiful purple gemstone. Amethyst is made out of quartz. Quartz is the second most abundant element on Earth. On Earth, quartz. Stone of February, we talked about that. We talked about the metaphysics. So the thing that makes quartz different is because it has a trace amount of iron. Trace amount of iron. Again, so but yet we consider an amethyst no matter what state it is, even though this is what, so amethyst has silicon oxide abundant everywhere. It has iron impurities, not even just impurities. That's why it's so rare, because you got to get silicon oxide along with iron together to make that. Or you heat it, irradiate it, the sun. And the only purpose it has really jewelry, healing properties, whatever you can do with gemstones or quartz. Here, human beings, we got all these things going on. As a man thinketh, I put that in because it says whatever we think about, we bring about. You put in whatever book works for you, whatever book, Bible, whatever study, you can do that within who you are, and anything is possible. But yet we understand the value of an amethyst, and we don't understand the value of each other or ourselves. So again, beauty is relative. Beauty is relative. You want amethyst? These guys, this is what amethyst looks like before you see that beautiful stone. This is amethyst. This is amethyst. This is tanzanite, actually. This is tanzanite. These guys are in this breathing, and notice there's no North Face equipment, goggles, all kinds of special equipment. No, they're in there breathing this stuff in dark. You don't see any lights or anything else. Yeah. Here's your sapphires. Here's your sapphires. Every sapphire you get, it comes from a guy that is dressed like this, out here just in the mud, just trying to go for find a stone, find just a minute stone because he understands the value of it. He understands the value of it. He doesn't have it. He's not even benefiting from it, but this is what he does. Here you go. Diamonds. Diamond mine. Temperatures. Oh my God. 100, 150 degrees, sweating, hot. Yeah. There you go. These are your gemstones. This is what the gemstone has value before it even comes out of the ground. He wakes up every morning. This gentleman wakes up every morning with the thought of that today is the day that he could possibly die, because, there's no OSHA. There's not all these special protections that we at least try to do in this country. He's just in a hole. And those are the planks he stands on. That's the light that he has. Pitch black darkness, cold or hot, whatever, cave, water that's his existence. Here you go. So why is it that a gemstone can come from these places and have, not only do you no matter how bad the place is, that gemstone still has value. You expect it, you go through it, you experience it, you have to suffer through that because you have a knowledge of and a belief that what you're going to get has value. But yet a young boy can be shot over a pair of shoes with no concept of value. Yeah, here's your gemstones. These are the people, these are the things. Can you imagine going down that hole looking for anything? Most of us wouldn't do it, but yet these people do it all the time. These people go to, this is their office. And it's not like, oh, rubies, diamonds, emeralds, just laying around. They have to look for it because in their minds, they already have value. Yeah. There you go. Pieces, pebbles. Look at the size of his fingers in comparison. This is what he's looking for day after day, day after day, because he understands the value of it. He believes, not that he's experiencing the benefits of it, but he is willing to do, he has to do that work in order to survive. So the value is already there in his mind. And yet he as a person, he as a human being, not valued. There you go. Good morning. It's time to go look for gemstones. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And I can't tell you, this is the history of gemstone mining. This is not like, oh, well, that was 300 years ago. No, there are places in the world right now. These are recent pictures. These are National Geographic pictures from just a few months ago. Here you go. Want a sapphire? There you go. So whatever this young boy is looking for has more value than the young man that was in my life looking me in my eyes, telling me that he wanted to be a scientist. He wanted to be a scientist. He wanted to study the space. And he was one of these kids that knew all the dinosaurs, but he knew all the planets. He knew black holes. He knew all that solar flare. He wanted to study that all the time. And he's gone. And yet, whatever this boy is looking for has more value to him. Coming out of a hole, coming out of a ditch, in God knows where. God knows what's in that water. Not only just talking about animals, but bacteria, things. Yeah, every day. So when does a gemstone become a gemstone? And not to just pick on gemstones. Let's go to the big one. Gold. Oh, yeah. Gold. There you go. An element comes from space. Right? Here we go. Gold. Gold bars. I mean, for a long time, the whole world's economy was based on gold. This is the most dangerous substance known to man. The most dangerous metal known to millions of people have died. It's amazing when you start reading what people have done for this. It almost makes you not want to wear it. But we are so, as a people, as a species, so addicted to this. I don't even think about people not buying gold. Some don't, but it's like, yeah, right. So let me tell you about a place that I've learned about a long time ago. And one of these days, it's on my bucket list to go. It's a place called La Rinconada. La Rinconada is La Rinconada. Yeah. See those little houses? That's La Rinconada. La Rinconada is the highest city on earth. It's in the Peruvian Andes. Yeah. It's so high up, even though it's almost right on the equator. The average temperature is about 34 degrees. So, 34, those of you living in cold, we know 34 degrees. Well, in Chicago, that's almost like a heat wave, but it's cold. 16,732 feet. And just to give you a reference, Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the highest mountain in Africa, 19,340 feet. So that's how high this place. The air is thin. You can really, and these people live in absolute poverty, abject poverty. There's no sewage. There's no running water. There's no sanitation. They have rats there the size of cats. This is not again. And what's really deep is these are the same people that when the conquistadors came, those were their ancestors. Same people. Because they're looking for gold. They live underneath a gold mine. They live on a glacier, and underneath the glacier is a gold mine. Now, there's not that much snow now because of, again, climate change and global warming. So therefore, the water that they used to have, they're getting less than less. There used to be a hole. The water used to come all the way up to the base of where those houses are. Now you can see how far back it is. And this whole strum of people, these are women. These are women. Take a look at that picture. These are women and children looking through scraps of rocks that they go through every single day, looking for tiniest fragments, dust, particles almost of gold. That is their complete only way of making money. In fact, this part of the world, when they mine for gold, they have this policy, and I don't want to, it's in Spanish. I can't remember how to say it, but basically what it means is they work 30 days out of each year, each month, no pay. Let me say it again. They work 30 days with no pay, from sun up to sundown, no pay. On the 31st day, they get 4 hours to go in those mines, find as whatever they could find, and then bring it 1 mile downrange and possibly find whether they found some gold. And what's really messed up is they use mercury. And those of you who don't know what mercury is, mercury basically liquefies your organs. Yeah. So their life expectancy in this part of the world is, if you get to be 40, you're like an old man. In the whole entire village, town, city, this is what they do. And this is what all the women and children do. Yes. This is a woman. This is her life. This woman is 32 years old. So again, when does a diamond become a diamond? When does a diamond become a diamond? Why do we have value for something like that that comes from places like that, but yet we already understand the value of it? When does an amethyst become an amethyst? It's not when it's on your finger. It's already built in. If you know, hey, Barry, yeah, there's an amethyst mine down there. Really? Where? In fact, we understand that concept. If I did some geological survey and figured out where a new amethyst mine or diamond mine or whatever, and I just said it and could run the numbers, and the numbers matched up with other scientists, oh, they would pay me before I even put shovel to the ground. That's what value is. When does gold become gold? How is it that we, for thousands of years, gold has been gold? No matter where you are in the world, gold is gold. You understand it. You hoard it. You fight for it. You kill for it. Columbus did not come here for just, an Airbnb. He came here for gold. That's what he promised Isabella and Ferdinand. If you give me 3 ships, and they gave them the most littlest, dinkiest ships. The Nina, Pinta, the Santa Maria was nothing. They were like their garbage ships. I will come back with gold. And in exchange for that, you'll make me Admiral of the Ocean, Admiral of the Ocean, Viceroy, which is French for Vice King, in whatever area I find, and a 10% cut of any of the gold. So when we talk about Black History Month, it started there. Slavery was the way that the European countries used the indigenous people. Once they killed them off because of diseases, they got Africans in order to do what? To do free labor, because there was already an understanding of what gold is, and gemstones and pearls. So the real question is, when does a human being become a person? Why wasn't Ronald seen in that way where people valued him the same way they valued those shoes, the same way you value gold or amethyst or diamonds? Why? Why didn't Ronald, whoever killed him, why didn't they see the value of Ronald? That's the part that gets me. So thank you. I made it through today. Next week, I have a really wonderful surprise for you, dealing with an extraordinary human being that I met just through a teacher from the Kwame Nkrumah, I'm sorry, from West Park Academy. He told me about this incredible young man, and we're trying to work everything out, but I will have him and his family, his mom and dad, on next week's show. Is really, really exciting. This young man, the only thing I'll tell you is this young man passes out red diamonds. And when you hear his story, you'll even have a better understanding of the significance between, or the analogy between, gemstones and people. So again, I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you I made it through without crying. Thank you. And as always, my name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a gemological storyteller. And please, please, please take time. There's so much death going on around us. Take time to appreciate who you are. Take time to look at the person that you love and the people that you love. Take time to discover the value of your story and their story. So until next week, au revoir, à te tella. Bye-bye.